Hey everyone, welcome back to lizfenwickdiy. In today's video, we are going to be making a super inexpensive sign for my laundry room. So the first thing I did was go to Habitat for Humanity Restore. You guys know I love that store, and I was on the hunt for a piece of wood that would make a perfect sign. So I found this sign and knew that this was going to be the one that would work perfectly. It was really long. The great thing about it is it had this like super nice border to it already, and I did like the color of it. And the best part about this sign is it only cost me $2. So what I decided to do with this sign was I decided to paint the top of it. And then I just painted 2 coats of Waverly white chalk paint to the top of my sign. I wanted to keep the surrounding border, so I left that. From there, once it had had a chance to dry, I wanted it to spell out the words laundry. So to achieve that, I went to my Cricut and I sized them so that they would fit nicely onto my board. So next, I'm gonna show you on my computer how I create my Cricut template to use in my sign. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, if you have a Cricut, you have access to Cricut Design Space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on New, and that's going to take me to a completely new screen. Now, all I'm going to be doing is creating some letters in here. Super easy, no big deal. So I want to go down to Text. And then I can do this 2 ways. I can do all of the letters individually, or I can do them together. I think today I'm just going to do them as one big group. And then if I need to resize them, I can do that as well. Next, what I'm gonna do is change my font. So you can see right here, it has the Cricut Sans font. So that's not the one I'm wanting, but I want to have a font that will work well for a, I guess just kind of making a template. I don't want anything that's too small and curvy. So this actually would be a pretty good font, and maybe I'll come back to it. So if you go to the fonts right here, you can click on all the fonts, Cricut fonts, which are basically, most of those are paid for fonts that you would have to pay for, or you can click on System and that will bring up any font that you have on your computer system. So what I'm gonna do next is, based on the size of my board, I can't have any letters that are longer than 5 inches. And you can tell right here on the side here, you can see that it's telling me that this is 2.397 inches. Down here, it's 11.48. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I can make them about 5 inches long, and I want them to be as big as possible. This is like right at 5 inches. So I think that'll be good. Next, I'm going to click on Make It, just to show me where the letters are. Okay, so what I'm gonna do to make this easier is I'm just going to remove 3 of the letters, and then I'm gonna print them separately. So next, I'm gonna click on Make It, and that will take me over to my mat. And my mat is a 12 by 12 mat, and it's having me go down to 13 inches. So I may go back and just take off another one of the letters. Okay. Okay, that works out great. To make my template, I'm just going to be using some contact paper that I already had on hand. I put it on my 12 by 12 mat, and now I'm just going to insert it into my Cricut. So to do that, I'm going to turn on the power button. Next, I want to load it in. Okay, and then on my dial, I'm gonna be in between paper and vinyl, and that cuts it out nicely. Back on my screen, all I'm going to do is hit the continue button. And then what it's going to be doing there is it's going to connect to my machine. So I have my USB plugged into my laptop and it's connecting, and you know that it's ready to cut whenever the Cricut has this little blinking C on it. So I'm just going to click on that, and then it will start cutting out those 3 letters that we did. And I just watch it and make sure that, you know, the vinyl is pressed down firmly and that it's not going to come up. You also want to make sure that you leave room at the back here, because it goes through the back, and if you don't leave room, it's gonna hit. Okay, so whenever this button is on, that means that it's time to remove it. And I now have 3 letters cut out. So now we're gonna go back to the machine and cut out the other 4 letters. For this one, I'm going to be using this Dollar Tree contact paper. I tell you, I literally use any contact paper when I'm doing my templates. It's so easy and super cheap when you look at how much Cricut paper actually costs. So I'm just gonna load this in so it's ready for the next set of letters. Okay, so back on my computer, I'm gonna click Finish. Now all I have to do is just print out the other 4 letters. So I'm just going to erase these and then do the LNDRY. Let's go to make it and see how long we are. Okay, so we are past the 12 inches. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to right click on this and create a duplicate layer. And then I'm going to just take off the Y here, and I'm gonna bring it down to the bottom. And the reason I'm doing that is so that it will all fit on my 12 by 12 sheet really nicely. All right, let's see if it formats it. Okay, perfect. So you can see it fits my 12 by 12 sheet. I do want this to be a little bit lower, so I'm just gonna take my cursor and move the Y down a little bit, but it's still under the 12. So all I have to do is hit continue. And right now you can see it's connecting to my Cricut machine. The Cricut is ready to go. This contact paper doesn't stick as well, so I'm gonna have to kind of hold it down. I'm just gonna hit the C. And the thing is like, don't be afraid to try things on here. If you mess up, you can always recut it. So, you know, sometimes I try to use things that doesn't work out and I'll just redo it. So don't be afraid to try it with this Cricut. That's kind of how you learn, is just trying things. Okay, and then I just click here, and that's all there is for creating your template. Now it's ready to be put on to the letter. So I measured out my board and then made individual letters, cut them out with black contact paper because that's the cheapest. You can buy that at you can buy it at Dollar Tree, Walmart, and those were going to be used as my template. I put the letters down onto my board, and then I just came in with some black paint and sponged that onto my letters. And I did 2 coats of that paint. Once that had a chance to dry, I just removed my template. Once that had a chance to dry, I just removed the contact paper that was my stencil. And then from there, you can just add a little bit of distressing around the edge or keep it the way it is. Now, since this was just a blank board, we did add a hanging system to the back of my board. And from there, we hung it on the wall in my laundry room. I love how this sign has such a big impact, and for $2, I can't believe I was able to make such an awesome sign. Here's a look at the final project. All right, you guys, you'll have to let me know in the comment section below what you think of this sign, and if you have a Habitat for Humanity in your area, let me know if you go there, what you buy there. I'd love to know any of your suggestions. And if you're new to my channel, make sure that you hit that red subscribe button so anytime I post a DIY, you'll be notified. And if you're new to my channel and you missed our last DIY, I'll link it right here so you can just click here and go watch the last DIY that I put out. And I will talk to you guys in our next video. Bye.